Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. Today's episode, we have to talk about Giga Berlin. All right, take a look at this. Tesla wins final approval for German factory via Bloomberg. Okay, this morning, 3:30 p.m. local time in Berlin, Tesla got official approvals for production in Giga Berlin. Now, that's the main headline. That's the main thing you should know. We're going to talk about it more as we go into this video. However, if you just want to know, what's happening, what the big news is, it's that we got approval for Giga Berlin to go ahead and start production. Now, if you want to know more nuance about the potential caveats around it, stay tuned. But before we get into it, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and let's get into it. Berlin got their final approvals. What did that look like? Take a look at this. This is all the documentation. I think it's a total of over 30,000 pages. I think over 60 binders worth of documentation for this approval, all right? A staggering amount of paperwork that had to go into this. And from our perspective, a staggering amount of time given the fact that it seemed like they were ready to start producing back in, say, November, December. However, we're here. We've cleared all the hurdles, more or less. But we got the official approval. They had a whole announcement today. And so now everything is done from a regulatory perspective. It's all in Elon Musk and Tesla's hands at this point. So let's get a little more nuance onto what actually happened by looking at some tweets. Take a look at this. Here we can see a tweet thread from Alex saying, Brandenburg's minister announced the final construction permit for Giga Berlin has been issued and given to Tesla. Let's read on. The minister-president stated, the approval procedure was a mammoth task for us. Today, in the special meeting, was the 600-page permit handed over to Tesla, the minister said. The production process can start after the conditions in it are met. Okay, so this is the caveat that you might be hearing people talk about. These conditions that have to be filled, right? And you may be thinking, oh, not again. Here we go again. Even more hurdles for Tesla to jump. But look, it's just stick with me, okay? I'm going to explain this a little more. The minister stated that for Brandenburg, there is a time before Tesla and a time with Tesla. In other words, we're ushering a new era of Tesla being a German manufacturer delivering electric vehicles for Germany. Okay, so this is a big deal, especially coming from the minister. He continued to talk about renewable energy in Brandenburg, other local settlements in the industry segment, and now talks about Ukraine. 400 conditions and requirements have been defined in the permit, which are not many, the minister said. The permit includes 536 pages of permit, 23,700 pages of application. Minister Vogel spoke about the issue of the approval process and that the changes are needed to improve it. Tesla now has the task of meeting the requirements before they can start production. So in other words, it's now all on Tesla's hands. Okay, it's not like there's any other approvals or anything that need to be done. Tesla has to, meet XYZ requirements, complete those tasks, and they're good to go. They can start production. Minister Steinbach explains the gravity of Giga Berlin for the region and that Brandenburg, a state that was not known before, is now high on the list of companies looking for an industrial settlement, right? Again, that whole Tesla effect, that vacuum effect. Okay, so then somebody asked a question, right? So this is kind of the meat and potatoes of what you might be hearing. What requirements was the question that was asked? The answer was requirements regarding the measurement of air quality, measuring devices must be installed, and these must be controlled. The concept for the prevention of incidents must be submitted, and proof of the use of materials, proof of construction status. Okay, so this is pretty basic stuff, pretty regulatory stuff. Tesla plans to fulfill all requirements for a production start of Giga Berlin in 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. I know a lot of you probably don't want to hear that. 2 weeks. Or we've all have nightmares about 2 weeks when it comes to FSD beta. But I think this is not something to worry about. That would allow for a start production of March 19th. Minister Vogel confirms that the water supply legal case between WSE and them is totally independent of the water supply to Giga Berlin. New water supply for the region is already been investigated and planned, he stated. Bloomberg also asked about incremental project phases. So, we've been hearing more rumors about, Tesla's going to go ahead and start putting in the permits for the next phases. So that's where the impetus behind this question. And the response was, as of now, no new applications from Tesla have been filed. A second question, if the given permit is timely limited, was denied. Press conference ended. Okay. So that's essentially the tweet storm that we had here. Okay. So let's break this down. Giga Berlin has all approvals to start production. Right. At this point, it's on Tesla to do the things they have to do. Okay. So for instance, they talked about being able to indicate the amount of pollution that's going out into the atmosphere, and how do we measure this, right? Think about this. Right now, Tesla has a Fremont factory in California, right? They already have a lot of these things implemented in California. And so I think a lot of the stuff that Berlin is asking for, that Germany is asking for, it's not anything that's going to be complicated for Tesla to solve. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff. I know we see here 400 certain requirements that must be fulfilled in order to start production. This is very basic stuff, right? It's no different than what's happening right now with ships, right? The new IMO, where all vessels have to go away from these heavy sulfur-based fuels, and they have to move over into a cleaner diesel, and if they don't meet those requirements, they have to have all these scrubbers, right? It's the same kind of thing. Catalytic converters, right? Same kind of thing. This is very normal. So it's normal for countries to say, hey, all right, you have production, but in order to do that, you have to have these, climate and these environmental requirements, right? You have to have a way to measure it to prove that you're being compliant. Pretty straightforward. I mean, a lot of you own cars in states where you have to go get your vehicle sent in for vehicle emission testing. So none of this is out of the ordinary. The biggest thing to really take away from this is now Tesla has a laundry list of things that they have to knock out before they can start producing vehicles and delivering them. So guess what? They're going to get it done fast. They're going to get it done in the Tesla way, which means we're going to solve the problem as fast as possible, and if we can't, we're going to iterate and we're going to figure out ways around it. All right, as far as I'm concerned, this is full throttle time for Tesla. At this point, they're going to slam the foot on that accelerator, throw all those electrons into that Model S Plaid, and they're going to go into Plaid mode here, all right? It's about to be insane. Giga Berlin, in my opinion, that's it. It's live. Now, I will say, I think the stock market's missing this right now. It seemed like the stock market understood this for a brief second this morning when we saw it go up about $15, and now it's down $10 or $9 or wherever it is at the time of this recording. To me, this indicates a very clear indication that the stock market doesn't understand it. It was funny because I was actually watching live the German conference, and I didn't realize it was going to be German. I thought maybe it'd be subtitled or something, but it wasn't. But I still watched it, right? Because, I mean, we're literally watching history in the making here. So even though I didn't understand what was happening, like, I understood the gravity of it, and I don't know, maybe that just shows you how ultra Tesla fan I am. But it was important for me to watch it, and you could feel the energy in the room, regardless if I was able to understand what they were saying or not. But with that said, this is imminent, okay? This is a big deal. This is monumental, and the stock market did not seem to understand it. It took maybe about 10 to 15 minutes into the entire presentation before we actually saw the stock begin to move up. And then I think right about the time where it was announced that Tesla has to fulfill these requirements. Right? Again, these are very basic requirements. These are requirements that you would see from anybody else. Any other company would have to do this. It's just very standard. We need to have measurable ways to determine, are you being compliant or are you not being compliant? So don't stress about this. Tesla is predicting 2 weeks to knock all those things out. It's not like they haven't known about a lot of these asks, so they'll get to it, they'll get done, and they'll start producing vehicles. They're already planning a party. Don't think that Elon and Tesla are planning a party for a grand opening unless they know what has to be done and get it done. And on top of that, it's not like this is a surprise list that they weren't expecting. So I'm sure they've had this list for a while. I'm sure they've already knocked a whole bunch of these requirements out already. And it's just a matter of, wrapping up a few loose ends, and then they'll be good to go. And that's probably why it'll only take about 2 weeks. So that's exciting. All right, so one other thing to talk about is this last tweet here. So here we saw from Gary Black, as you all may know before I show this tweet, There's the whole water supply to Tesla controversy, where Tesla already has the approval, but now there's a lawsuit against it, and so yada, 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 right? Just more drama. But that court hearing started today. And so Gary Black tweeted this. The WSC hearing about the increased water usage for the Tesla factory began before the administrative court of Frankfurt ordered at 9:30. According to local media coverage, the court left open whether there'll be a decision today. So again, this is a decision on whether or not Tesla can continue with the supply they have, or they have to find a new source, right? Again, I think this is honestly a nothing burger. I don't think this is a big deal. In all honesty, I think there's a higher likely for this to get dismissed out of court. They already have approval, so this is an attempt to claw back that approval. So I think that's a lot more of a Herculean effort you have to go through to get that after approval's already happened. And honestly, it would it would make the approval body look very incompetent if they did that. So I don't think it's going to happen. Either way, I don't think it's a big deal. The bigger deal to me is that production was granted. All right, so now there's no threat, because although it was small, there was always a threat that even though Tesla had built this entire factory on the back of preliminary permits based on the fact that it might get approved, but if they decided it wouldn't get approved, Tesla would have had to, take the entire factory down, replant all the trees, and leave the place as it was. So that's no longer on the table. That's all gone. Those risks are gone. So that's a big deal. Production is going to start. It's all good news here. Now, the stock market, that's a whole nother animal. That's a whole nother beast. Right? I mean, I thought for sure we were out of this parallel movement with the market, with the macros, once we got news of Berlin, but it looks like we're not there. It looks like we're still going along with the market, for better or for worse, especially after we saw the Fed meeting yesterday. I actually thought the Fed news was pretty good, to be honest. I think we need to see rate hikes. I mean, it's just what it is. Inflation is crazy. We have to do something, and inflation is not going to be good for anyone. At least if they start with the 2004 process, where they increase by 0.25% or 25 basis point essentially each meeting, at least we'll know what's happening moving forward, and the stock market will respect that. Mark my words, the stock market will respect that, and the stock market will stabilize. It's the same reason we saw the stock market actually run up whenever Russia actually invaded Ukraine. Because the stock market knew what to expect now. There was no longer of will they, won't they kind of scenario. Again, I referenced this last time, my friend's example, right? Will they, won't they? Is Russia going to invade? Is it not? Is it not? Is it not? And then, boom, they did it. Okay, well, we know what to expect now. Russia's going to invade. I think the same thing, but potentially with a larger effect will happen with the Fed. If we know what the Fed's going to do, we know what their schedule is moving forward, we know what the rate hike's going to be, and they give a clear plan moving forward. That's all the market wants. The market wants to know what's happening. We don't like to have any outliers, instability. We want stability, and we want to know what the path moving forward is. That's all it's looking for. And if that happens, Berlin opens, we get the awesome announcement, we start getting these delivery numbers, we get Q1 earnings. Elon's not on it. I know I love having Elon on it, but you know what? Stock market doesn't. So Zach will control the narrative. Zach will say what Wall Street wants to hear. I think, like I've said this for a while now, I feel that come April 1st, come April as a month in general, that's where we'll start to see stability again, and that's where we can start running back up into the $900,000, $1,000 type price targets. So, again, I'm, putting myself out there. I don't believe in actually predicting timing. I'm not a fan of that. I believe you should own the stock for the long term. Forget about all this short-term noise. The only reason I talk about it is because it's fun and it's interesting, and, it's something I track, and being able to track this and follow it allows me to be a better investor, understanding more of the intricacies with the company. And hopefully you watching these videos with me allows you to do the same, plus all of the other amazing YouTubers out there, right? It's all about getting as much information in, right? Throw it all at yourself, and then you make your own opinions and distill it for yourselves. All right, with that said, one more thing. I want to talk about all of you, all the viewers. Thank you so much for all the beautiful comments yesterday. We are having a great time here in Costa Rica. It's absolutely a beautiful place. It takes us a while to get here, but once we get here, it's nothing but heaven. It's a magical place for us. Also, thank you for everybody who gave some input about the audio. I've made some tweaks. We'll see if it works or not. But in all, just all positive feedback. So, I really appreciate everything from all of you. And thank you again for all the congratulatory comments from all of you about our engagement and us, going and meeting with the wedding planners and things of that nature. So it's exciting. We're excited. This is a very special place for us. Costa Rica is actually where we got engaged. I'll give you guys a quick story here. And again, if you're just here for the Tesla stuff, no worries, no more Tesla talk now. But my fiance and I, we actually met in Greece. We were both just island hopping around, and we were both leaving Mykonos, and that's where we met. And so, we met in Mykonos, outside of the States. We got engaged in Costa Rica, so it almost seemed appropriate to also get married outside of the States. We live in Florida. We love Florida. We love where we live. We love the States, but just for our story, our journey, we thought, why not take it back to a very special place for us? I mean, this is essentially the country where we really fell in love. It's the country where we knew we wanted to spend the rest of our lives together. It's the country I proposed to her in. So it only makes sense to be the country where we get married. So for those of you asking, why Costa Rica? What's the story behind it? That's the quick synopsis of the story. All right, we're going to leave it there. Again, if you enjoy this type of content, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. I love you all. But now I have a vacation to get to, so cheers.